We all have nightmares. But mine began calling out, begging for help.
For 3 nights, the dream felt so real, I couldn't tell where the terror ended.
My logical mind searched for biological answers, for causes within the real world. But the mythology texts spoke of the Shadow Veil, where nightmares cross dimensions.
Trust the process. I had to see if my nightmare was truly a message from a creature in crisis.
Here we go.
The shadow wing, usually dormant, felt heavier, like a door left ajar between worlds.
Then I saw it. Not a creature, but a perfect piece of evidence, exactly where I dreamt it was.
It proved the shadow veil was thinning, and that something was reaching out, desperately needing my attention.
It's real.
A nightmare foal. A shadow projection in my dreams. Dying somewhere in its physical world.
I don't know the rules of this shadow realm yet, but that doesn't matter. I made a promise.
The first priority was establishing a stable, safe link to the Foal's dream world. But that meant sacrificing my own sleep. This creature was not simply dreaming. Its actual body was in a state of catastrophic biological failure.
The lore suggested a shadow foal's life force is intrinsically linked to its primary habitat's magic source.
Look at that.
If its physical home environment is destroyed, the foal will die, even if its projected self remains with me.
I needed to simulate its native habitat, to pump life back into the projection, keeping it tethered to me.
Almost there.
The moment the habitat stabilized, I saw the first true sign of the creature's presence in my world. I knew the foal's projection, driven by instinct, would seek the deepest safety, its hidden retreat.
For the Foal, the dream realm is a temporary medical ward, and I am simply a life support system.
This creature's physical life is now dependent on my ability to solve the puzzles it sends me in the nightmare dimension. Sleep was no longer rest, but a forced entry into a reality where time moved differently and shadows held life. I was instantly back inside the Shadow Veil, but this time, the world was actively hostile, reflecting the Foal's suffering. It was there, huddled beneath a fractured pillar of shadow, a physical manifestation of a dying creature. When it finally looked up, there was no hostility, only the raw, burning terror of a baby trapped and failing. This was our first eye contact, the true moment our partnership was forged in pure, desperate need. I didn't try to name it. The name chose itself in that desperate connection. Nox. Night.
Nox, come on, buddy.
The touch felt cold, like starless midnight. Yet under the shadow, the trust was momentary. He was dying, and the pain instantly manifested a terrifying image in my own mind. It wasn't hostile, just a surge of raw biological data, and his inner world was collapsing, and I had to see it.
Wait, I understand.
The foal led me to the edge of an abyss, a place in the dream where the world had simply crumbled away.
Show me the way, Nox.
This was the visual representation of its core biological problem, a missing element.
Then, it showed me its first power, not as an attack, but as a method of communication, drawing light away.
The foal had found a way to show me the puzzle. I had to restore the missing light. The stakes were clear. Solve the dream puzzles, or watch my new friend fade away forever in 2 worlds.
Waking up felt like a drop from a great height, but the cold reality was that Nox's fate now rested entirely on my hands. The Foal's dream puzzle was a logic gate. Every waking hour was spent trying to find the key to its survival.
Almost, no.
I kept the physical habitat primed, offering nutrient paste, hoping to ground the energy of the desperate dream projection.
He wasn't totally alone. The energy flux had attracted one of our most curious residents, Jiro, the fire kitsune. Shadows and fire don't mix easily. but Jiro's playful nature overcame his instinctual fear of the dark element.
Meanwhile, from the highest vantage point of the sanctuary, Zephyr, our elder griffin, kept a watchful, silent vigil.
The growth was happening, rapidly, but only in the dream, and the sheer mental bandwidth was starting to break me.
2 days, 0 sleep.
Inside, Nox was now a colt, sleek and powerful, testing the limits of this newly stabilized world we had built together.
The next puzzle appeared as a twisted knot of shadow vines, requiring him to use his shadow manipulation for balance.
Okay, Nox, focus.
He was learning fast, combining instinct with strategy, but I knew the next lesson would be more emotionally draining.
Good boy.
A memory, a fear surfaced from his core.
The sheer force of that memory, the dark terror it brought, was violently projected directly.
He didn't mean to hurt me. The Foal was only trying to communicate the overwhelming agony of its decaying physical form. The cost of this mental connection was becoming heavy, but the bond we shared now was becoming unbreakable.
It's okay, buddy. We keep going.
I was sacrificing my own stability to maintain his. The line between my world and his was getting impossibly thin. The physical cost was showing. The drain on the sanctuary's shadow magic was threatening to collapse the entire facility's balance.
We needed more energy, more space, but I was out of time. The containment. I couldn't sleep, but I was fat. I could only win while I was unconscious. It was the definition of impossible. I can't go back in there like this.
The alarm was screaming, but my body had reached its limit, and it forced me back into the one place I was terrified to go.
I was thrown into the deepest part of the nightmare, a collapsing reality where Nox's despair had grown.
His energy was draining so fast, the protective spectral markings were flaring bright, fighting off the collapse of his own spirit. I tried to push through the gathering gloom, but the raw power of the nightmare weaving kept flooding my mind with despair.
Nox, it's me.
As I fell, the obsidian rock I collected shimmered, revealing the final piece of ancient text I needed to solve the healing puzzle.
The answer was a sequence: harmony, submission, and sacrifice. I had done the first two, but the last felt impossible.
Sacrifice.
Nox was surrounded by the forces of its own mortality, the spectral entities pulling its life force toward the inevitable. The light in his amber eyes, my only link to his spirit, was fading.
Even as the world collapsed around me, I knew the answer was real. A physical sacrifice to seal the broken connection in the Shadow Veil.
Not yet, not yet.
My life is yours, Nox. The ultimate commitment.
The light was the cure. It shot from the fissure, bathing Nox in the healing essence of the connected dream realm. The resonant chord of the magic's return pulled me out of the dream, leaving a single thought in my head. It worked.
I didn't wait. The sacrifice was made in the dream, but the proof had to be physical, had to be real. Nox?
The air was thick with the scent of ozone and the rich, earthen smell of stable shadow magic. He was alive. The sacrifice had sealed the connection, binding its physical self to the vital energy of our world.
You're safe, buddy.
Even Jiro, our curious fire kitsune, felt the shift in energy. The realm of shadow was no longer hostile to the light. I saw the smallest sign of its presence. A touch, a taste, confirming the shadow foal was now true. The crisis was over. All that remained was the long, slow work of healing a creature that had been dying in two different realities. The sanctuary was safe. The strange creature had a home, and I had found a purpose deeper than I could have ever imagined. And the Shadow Colt's spirit, now anchored by my own sacrifice, would learn to live, to fly, to dream a new kind of midnight. The next morning, the silence was finally broken, not by crisis, but by the regular alarm clock that I hadn't heard in days. The hunger was real, the exhaustion was gone, and the strange hunger for data was replaced by a normal craving for eggs. My usual morning route was a pleasant reminder that the entire sanctuary had returned to its expected state of serene, powerful magic. Even the door to the Shadow Wing felt different, secure, silent, containing the magic rather than struggling against it. Inside, the Foal was stable, resting comfortably in the quiet darkness I had fought so hard to restore to him. He was safe. Nox, my Shadow Colt. And our new life was just beginning to take shape. The bond was complete, the future was secured, and the silent watch was over. We had all found our peace,